This kind gentleman posted on one of my videos where I was sharing my story about what happened to my family and how the LDS church broke my family. And I really appreciate him asking, okay, what happened? Because there's a lot of members of the church in the comments saying like, oh, it fell apart because you can't blame the church for this because you need to take responsibility for yourself, and it fell apart because you're garbage or whatever. Which is the same mentality that my ex-husband's family carries as well. And carried it actually before we even got divorced. And the reason they carried that mentality is because I told the truth about the church and their family narcissistic system. And how the church broke my family is actually, so I left the church. And that was a huge shock to everyone because I was so in the church. And the reason I left the church is because it was breaking my marriage. My ex-husband didn't really want anything to do with it. And I'm like, no, we have to be an eternal family. Like, we got to figure this out. And so that was causing a lot of conflict. And then I started going to church and I started like realizing the damage it was doing, not just to me, but to like a lot of people. And so it got to a point where I was like, I need to figure out what is real here. And I need to either strengthen my faith or I need to be brave and see the truth. And so what I did, because I was such a believing member, I studied my family history. I didn't study any of the church, like the CES letter and all the things that the church tells you not to study. I wasn't going to do that because I was a good Mormon, right? Very obedient to a fault, actually. And so I thought, if I study my family history, then I will be able to discover why they, like, it will reignite my faith. That was my goal. Like, it'll reignite my faith and I'll be able to stick through this because my ancestors died so I could have this faith. And the audacity that I have to even consider leaving was just so outlandish to me. And so I started diving deeply into my family history. And what I discovered there was death. Yeah, that really happened for the church. Was people sacrificing their life, their time, their talents, and everything that they are for the building up of a very toxic organization that abused them every day. That, like, my ancestor wrote about how they didn't have any food and they asked if they could just please have a break on their tithing so they could get caught up so that they could survive. Okay, because we're talking back in the 1800s. And the church said no. And they took all of their food. My ancestor was called on a mission to Arizona. And he asked to come home after his wife died. He had a ton of children that grew up without him. And he asked to come home after 24 years of service. And they said no. They even had like oh my gosh. Yeah, in the place that he lived, they had passes to allow you to leave that needed to be signed off by your leaders. And he was not allowed to leave that little community that they were building down in Woodruff, Arizona. So, I mean, okay. And anyways, and the trauma that he went through was so big, it manifested in his body. He was physically disabled, and so was I. So basically, what I discovered when I studied my family history is that giving your life to this toxic organization causes so much trauma, and that trauma just snowballed for generations down into my life and even caused physical dis-ease in my body because it is that toxic. So I was like, wow, I got to tell everybody about this. I got to tell everybody about this. Oh my gosh. Because I just had this huge awakening and it had nothing to do with all the things the church tell you not to study. It had to do with the things that they tell you to study. And please, everyone study your family history, okay? Especially the members of the church. Please wake up to don't stay a part of the organization out of loyalty, okay, to your ancestors. You break free in honor of them. You break free to heal them, actually. It's, we're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. And as I continued to spend all this time with my ancestors, I discovered that I'm a channel, and I started channeling my ancestor. And his main goal and effort was to help me break free from the church. And because he saw it completely destroying my life and my health. And that was crazy. That was a really crazy time. Um, a lot of change and a lot of pain, but also a lot of healing. And I am not someone that can lie to people, and I'm not someone that can like not tell the truth. So I wrote a book about it. I told the truth about it. I started making TikTok videos about it. And that's when I got in trouble with my ex-husband's family. And my ex-husband has bipolar, and we were trying to figure out, how to treat that and how to get everything settled. And there was a lot of conflict there and a lot of pain and a lot of misunderstanding and trying to figure things out. If you are married to someone with bipolar, if you do not have a good support system, it will fail. It will fail. It will fail. And what happened was, we moved to Texas, actually. It was a joint decision on our part to create distance between us and his mother, who had the tendency of kind of getting in between our marriage and stuff like that. And it got so much worse after I left the church. It became her mission to break our marriage. And so when my ex-husband would have like episodes, he's not okay, he would always call her, and she would always encourage separation instead of like, hey, how about you go see a doctor? And one day I told him, because he was working on getting better, going to therapy and starting medication and stuff. And the psychiatrist, therapist, everybody was like, so you need to stop drinking continuously because that's going to affect your medication. And it was critical that he took care of this because he was doing things that were very ungrounded, like rubbing bug foam all over my children, or rage outbursts, and just like not safe things because of his bipolar. So it was critical that he got help. And I told him one day when he wanted to go to the liquor store in the morning, maybe we should not do that, right? Maybe we need to take care of you and just like stop drinking continuously. I wasn't saying you have to stop completely, but just like be careful. And like, let's work on this together. He got so angry and so upset that he abandoned my children and I that day. He got a U-Haul, packed it, and left, and we haven't seen him since. And what he did is he went home to Utah to his family, to his mother, who was so excited for his return and encouraged him to leave me and the children. He stole the last of our finances when he left as well, which was a very bipolar thing to do. And we we have suffered so much since this time. And while he was gone, right, I actually was very concerned for his life. And I text his family continuously, please get him to see a professional, a doctor. He needs to see a doctor. Please get my ex, like he's my ex now, but please get my husband help. Please help him. Please respond to me. They ignored my texts for 5-6 months as I pled, as I begged them. And the reason they ignored my texts is because I left the church, but also because I called out their toxic, narcissistic family system. And you don't do that. You don't do that and stay standing tall on the other side of that. They will take you down. They will like do everything in their power to destroy you, especially when you challenge the power and the authority of the matriarch of this narcissistic family system. And being a trauma survivor and an intuitive, I knew very well the kind of person that we were dealing with in my ex-mother-in-law. And I warned my ex-husband about her intent to break us apart. And I was like, can't you see what she's doing? She would even, okay, yeah, we had a conflict. She invited herself over to Texas to fix things, right? To come break us apart. And we went to a parade, and I was like, okay, I can be kind to this woman. And and my ex-husband and I were doing fine at the time. She wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't look at me, and she tried to like isolate me from my ex-husband and children while we were having a family outing. She just did shit like that. She did shit like that. And she felt very empowered by where she stood in her actions, because she's a member of the one and only true church, and I'm not. And I'm evil and I'm bad, and she is righteous. And so she got the support of her children and everyone in her corner to help ostracize me, to shun me, and to ignore me, because I begged everyone in the family for help, not just her. I begged everyone in the family to help my ex-husband, to get him to see a doctor. They all ignored me. Every single text message, every single phone call, they didn't care. And all this happened because I left the church. And in my ex-husband's mania, he cheated on me. Like I said already, he stole money from us. My kids and I ended up homeless, and falling prey to a different abuser. It's been a year from hell. It's been a year from hell, from hell. And I credit all of this, actually, to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that teaches grandiosity and in their members, and teaches them false things that makes them feel powerful and better than, and like, yeah, makes them look down on other people, because I've never been treated worse in my entire life, and I've been through a lot. My kids have never been treated worse. And just because someone leaves the church doesn't make them garbage, doesn't make them unworthy. It actually makes him a person with some fucking integrity, a person with some fucking courage. And the fact that there's people out there speaking the truth, calling it out. It's almost like the more angry the members get for that, the more you should continue doing that. Okay? Because we've got a problem here. The people in the comments that I've read about, so many broken families because of the church, so many people who have been ostracized and shut out and shunned, even though the church says they don't support shunning. They do, so they can control their members. It's abusive as hell. And I'm so glad I broke free, even though I've been punished in all these ways. I'm so glad my kids don't have to live this way, to be in this cult. I'm so, so proud. And I'm so proud also because I get to step into my purpose, and I get to be who I am and think what I think and feel what I feel. And I'm also very proud that I stood up to my ex-husband's abusive parents. And I hope someday that his siblings can break, that he can break free. And because it's done so much damage, like, we're just scratching the surface.